So this is the second part of the Stair project for the house residential model. As we did before, we built the 6, 12, 18, and 24-foot kind of landings, steps and landings in the first phase. The second phase, we are going to focus on connecting that landing to the main level. As you can see here, I have the second level drawn in. The other thing I've done is I've gone up here to do a little save project, cut an opening in the floor. And so where you need to do that is in architecture. If you go all the way down to the end, there's kind of a vertical opening. We had done a similar thing in the wall below to make the opening in the concrete wall. Now we're going to do one in the floor of the house. One of the things I would recommend is making sure that not only do you cut the width, but go and make sure that the concrete wall goes all the way through, so that way the floor doesn't split this wall. We want that to be contiguous, so the lower level and the upper level together. If you run into any problems where those separate, you can kind of click on it and grab it and tie them back together, because we want those two to be the kind of backdrop for the stair. So let's start out by going back down to the main level. One of the things we want to do is come over here to architecture, do stair. Now I've already built a stair condition. What I did is I took the 7 and 11 generic stair, and I put that, made a copy of it. So I opened that up, and then I clicked on edit type, and I saved it as a copy for 7/5/8. Since the stair goes as a residential, it can go up a little bit higher. We are going to some of the things that you'll want to do when you edit type is this will be 7 inches, so you'll change this to 7.6 or 7 5/8. You can leave the tread depth at 11 inches, that is fine. And then our run is going to be, the width of it's going to be 3 foot 1 inches. The second thing we want to do is come down here to tread and nosing. And I have here, I've got tread material, just called it steel at this point in time. And I've changed the thickness from 2 inches to 1.5 inches. So those are a couple things that you want to make sure you take care of in the configuration. We also come down here to the stringer. I have changed that also to a closed stringer on both the left and the right hand side. The other thing that I did is I also modified, hang on a second, closed. I go down here to the width, and I've actually modified the width to be 1.5 inches. So it's a little narrower. The other thing is the total depth of the stringer is also goes from 12 inches, and I made it 9, so that it kind of gets closer to the what the drawings are for the building. And so go through here, and I would just check, make sure all these values look good, and then you can apply, say OK. And once you have this, we want to come here, and we're going to take it from the base level. Now, of course, we're coming off the top landing here, so we know we want to add the 6 inches for the landing, and then the other additional 2 feet, so that'd be 2 foot 6. And then we'll go up to the second level. So we've got, that'll be a distance of 9 foot 6, and the number of risers will be 15. So what we're going to do is we're going to click here on the midpoint, kind of come here, so that opening is kind of at the edge. So we know if we go up, we show 15 risers, which is actual number of risers, and we should have a stair located. So we can go in here, take a look at this from a 2D perspective, 3D perspective, excuse me. Let's also look at it in section. So it looks like the landing is coming a little bit further over at the top, and we're right at the edge here, so we know this overlaps a little bit of the concrete landing. So let's go up here and we'll click on this. There's an arrow, so we can pull that back. Go back here to the 3D view. A couple other things is we have these stair supports, a stringer. So the top is a vertical cut like we've seen, kind of going into the edge of the, but we want to have it go to a horizontal cut for the bottom. And we're going to do that with both sides. Oh, that's the upper, excuse me. Let's look at that in section. So we've got the 11-inch tread, and then 1 inch is kind of buried into the upper landing, and then we can overlap the concrete stair, so it starts to look more like what we need for the stair. So we can come up here and take a look and see how this is laying out inside the opening. So what we can do is go to the second level, take a look and see how our stair is here. Looks like we right along that edge, and looks like we can move the opening over ever so slightly. So let's make that 9 inches. Looks like it needs to be 9.5. There we go. So that looks good, and what we're going to do is we're going to click the check mark. Now the guard handrails are also going to be in here, so we're going to do some modifications of those, and we'll do that here in a second. Okay, so let's go back to the plan. Take a look at this. So one of the things we want to start to do on this is to look at the, let's go back here to 3D. So this one is going to be up against the concrete wall, so we want to turn that into just a handrail. So let's click on that. We're looking at railing, so some of the things we know that, let's click this, let's duplicate, we'll say handrail wall. We're going to take a look, so there's nothing there for verticals. So what we want to do here is, so we know we've got this balustrade, we're going to get rid of that. And then what we want to do is we're going to keep an end, we're going to get rid of all of the verticals. So say OK, apply. And so let's take a look at that one more last time. Edit type. So we've got a rectangular 2x2, it's a top rail, so we're going to change that to a circular 1.5 inches. So we've got that, and that'll be along the wall. So the next one we need to modify is the other guardrail, which is actually will be where it's open. I'm going to modify that. Now in the drawings we have the kind of end coming up, we have the top cap, and then it comes back down to here, and then we have cables that are 4 inches on center in the center. So we're going to take this one, again, rectangular, we're going to edit type, we're going to duplicate, I'm going to say handrail outside. So here I'm going to do an insert, and this one's going to be 4 inches off because we're going to space these. eventually what we're going to do is we're going to change these out. Right now we don't have a profile for cables, so the closest thing I have right now to kind of at least do the spacing, then we can change this out later, would be to get a 1-inch circular. And then we're going to make this material stainless steel. And we'll do an insert. Say OK. Let's do a quick check. Looks like we're missing something, so let's go over here and edit this bottom one. Okay, we got a regular. Get rid of this one. Those are the standard ones, and those are the ones that are 4 inches on center. Then we're going to go here. We're going to start post. We're going to change that to a 2.5 by 2.5 by ½ inch bar. Do the same thing on the other end. So that'll be the start and finish, and then of course in the middle we're not going to have one, so we're just going to say 0, none. Say OK. Okay, so now you can see we have the kind of 1 inch at the bottom. And we're going, and then we have the 2-inch square bar at the top. So now we're going to go back in here. Let's do a little more editing. So one of the things we can do, let's eliminate, delete that one. And then we're going to duplicate these. And then I'm going to modify these, and then we'll start that here in a second. Okay, so I've gone through and I've added all of these every 4 inches on center, and I've got this extra one, so I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to delete this one. And we'll say apply, say OK, OK again. And now we have a guardrail condition with these metal pieces that right now are tubes, 1-inch tubes that will be changed to cables, but they're 1 inch on center. So in 3D view, you can see how the stair is coming up. And also in this section, let's go back to the main level. Can move the section cut back. We can do a quick view of that. As you can see here, so we've got the kind of landing, we've got the stair coming up and coming to the second level. So one of the things that's nice about this is that once we do this, let's do a save. And then if we go back to the stair condition, one of the things that it's kind of nice once we get this going, we could talk about multi-story top level. So right now it's not multi-story, but we're saying we could say mezzanine level. Now right now, since there's not a floor in it, it's kind of not liking the configuration, but I know you can put that in, and now we'll have both stairs in once you have the mezzanine level drawn in, and you'll be able to duplicate that stair. So what's nice is we'll design it once and do all the configuration, and then be able to apply it to the next level. And so there you'll have your stair and ready to start to do some fine detailing on that. So anyway, that's step 2, and hopefully if you have any questions, I'll answer them in class.